Welcome to Mishna study, Masechet Sheviit, Perek Aleph, Mishnah Chet. In this Mishnah, we're continuing on the theme of the netiot, these saplings, and now we're going to discuss what is considered a sapling. So we said it's a new tree, right? But what's considered new? How long is this new tree that's being planted considered new, where you're allowed to plant all the way up until Rosh Hashanah? Ad ematai nikre'u netiot. Right? How long are they? Until when are they considered netiot? Are they considered saplings? Until they become hol, until they become hulin. Right? So what does this mean? So Rambam explains first of all, it's coming from the language of hol, and it's considered a neti'ah. Firstly, for the first 3 years, because the first 3 years you're not allowed to benefit from the tree, right? It's considered olah. You can't eat from it, better yet, right? You're not allowed to eat from it for the first 3 years. The arelim. Now, once the 4th year comes, if you're podet, right? The 4th year is netarevai, so you need to go ahead and eat it in Jerusalem, or you could be podet, you could redeem it, right? And then you could use those fruits, and you, right? The money that you redeemed, that money that you used to redeem, you take it to Jerusalem. So if you redeem it, it's the 4th year. If you didn't redeem it, right, then you have to wait till the 5th year, right? All the way up until the 5th year, it's considered hulin. And Rambam says either or, right? My adshe aholu, because the Yerushalmi, adshivdu, right? Until they're redeemed, or adshe asu hulin melehen, or until they come hulin on their own in the 5th year, right? So either one, right, would make it, would take it out of the status of netiot. Rabbi Yoshua omer ad sheva shayim, and Rabbi Yoshua is longer, right? Until 7 years. Rabbi Akiva omer neti'ah kishma. Rabbi Akiva says neti'ah, right, a sapling, as people call it. When people call it a sapling, this is a young new tree, then it's a new tree. Once they call it a tree, that's it. It loses the status of a sapling, right? Now, how long is this? It really depends, where you're living and how people refer to it. That's at least according to Rambam, right? Where he really is toleh, right? He explains that it's based on what people actually call it. The Rash, others don't explain like that. They actually say no, it's specifically 1 year, right? But Rambam is really very pshat of the language over here. Neti'ah kishma. Next case is ilan shenigmam ve'otzi halifin. If you had a tree that was cut, like it was cut to its, a stump, right? There's a picture of it. You can see it's chopped off. And it started to resprout and started to regrow from the sides. Now, how do we treat this? Do we treat this as a tree? Or do we say that this is now a new neti'ah, because it's something new that's growing? So the Mishnah says, right? If this stump itself of the tree was 1 tefach off the ground or less, then it's considered neti'ah. It's considered a new tree that's sprouting. Right? If the stump of the tree was a tefach and higher, it was more than that, then it's considered ilan, right? It doesn't lose its tree status, right? All this, divrei Rabbi Shimon, right? All this is the words of Rabbi Shimon. I would just point out, right? I would point out over here that what's the difference? Okay, so now let's say, if we do treat it like a tree, or if we treat it like a neti'ah, right? What's the difference? So, right, we would say, right, it's really okay. In the neti'ot, you're allowed to plow all the way up until Rosh Hashanah, whereas in Ilan, you're only allowed to go until Shavuot. And Rambam though explains over here, he goes, you know what the difference between neti'ah and Ilan is? The Ilanot, you need 3 for a betziah, and then in the neti'ot, if it's a sapling, you need 10 for a betziah in order to plow the field. Right? He sort of ignores the time frame, right, of Shavuot versus Rosh Hashanah. Interestingly enough, I'm not really sure why, but that's what Rambam says over here. And halacha is like Rabbi Akiva, right? According to the first 3 opinions, that we go, when is it considered a sapling? Up until when you call it a sapling, right? Based on when the people call it. And halacha is also like Rabbi Shimon, because we have a Tosefta, yesh mash shemaskim l'da'ato, right? In the Tosefta, it agrees to Rabbi Shimon's opinion, and therefore we're posek like Rabbi Shimon as well.